welcome back to another episode of Mind is Matter. This is Makaiza Keesee, your host, and if you would like your mentor as well, we have a program called Break Out to Break Free. And that mentorship program is for millennials and Gen Z primarily, but it doesn't matter what age you are, we can help you out. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, fearful of the future of life, not sure where your place is, feeling as though you don't have a place. Whatever those feelings might be, feeling as though, hey, I actually feel like I have a place, I have a purpose. I just don't know what it is or how to get there, how to navigate myself there. Those are things that we take care of, and we help you to discover within yourself in the program Break Out to Break Free. So again, this is Makaiza Keesee, your host and mentor. If you'd like, I have a link in the description, of course, below. And go ahead and click on that sucker. That way you can book a one-on-one session with me. That way we can take 30 minutes, get to know who you are, get to know who I am, see if we're a good fit together to work together, and then take steps moving forward from there, identifying some things that you might be struggling with, help you overcome maybe one or two things just in that session alone, and then see, again, like I said, right, if we work together well, we can continue to do that on that journey. So I look forward to seeing you inside of the mentorship program. But back to the episode. And so emotions, right? Emotions have this funny way of always being there, always being present, always having something to express. And a lot of times when you aren't really tapped in emotionally, you can find yourself feeling overwhelmed by the things that you're feeling, right? Feeling overwhelmed by your feelings. Yes, feelings can have feelings. And so that's how deep this stuff can get, right? So when it comes to emotions, I wanted to break down two main things about emotion, because we're going to do a little series on emotion. We're going to do a 5-part series on emotion starting with this episode. So with this episode, we're going to do what we always do, the same thing that we do in my program, one of the 4 pillars of the program, but we are going to bring awareness to what's going on. So what in the world is emotion, right? And typically I define words and things like that. I didn't on the whiteboard right here, so I'm going to do that right now with you guys live, kind of live, not really live, but live for me. So let's define emotion. So it's got 2 definitions. I'm going to go to Merriam-Webster because that seems to be a universal understanding and definition. I'm not going to take Google's definition of it, in other words. So a conscious mental reaction, subjectively experienced as a strong feeling, usually directed toward a specific object and typically accompanied by physiological and behavioral changes in the body. Another definition is a state of feeling. Another definition is the affective aspect of consciousness or feeling. And what a feeling is a sensation experienced, right? Or responsive awareness or recognition. So what we're really getting to here is, if we go back to just the quick definition of emotion, where it's a state of feeling, right? Like, we all have feelings and we're always in a state, right? So we're always in a state of feeling something. And there's only a few from what I can, gather from my own particular resources and research. There are a few people who have mastered the art of being able to live without emotions swaying the things that they do. And so that's something that, we can all look forward to if that's something you feel called to go toward. It's something I feel called to go toward, that's for sure. And so being a sensitive creature, right? I'm going to kind of go into my own self for just a couple seconds. Being a sensitive creature, I am a Pisces, right? Hence all the purple. I mean, I think that's part of it. I don't know. I'm just talking here, but I think the Pisces signs like purple and blue. We're like the amethyst stone and all that. So I'm a Pisces, right? In terms of my sun sign, we have sun, moon, rising signs. If you don't know those signs about yourself, but you want to find out, go to any site, basically type in like how to find my birth chart, right? And you'll be led to different websites. Find the one that resonates the most with you. Put in, you're going to need to know your birthday, the time you were born, and the location you were born. So when you have all three of those things, even if you don't quite have the time, it's okay just to have the location and the date. Those are okay as well. You'll get a rough estimate, but having the time is very good, and you'll find out what your entire astrological chart is. Now, some people believe that the astrological chart doesn't have anything to do with life or their lives in particular, and I beg to differ. I had the same, reservations until, of course, I went looking into it, and I found that there's actually a lot of truth when it comes to looking deeper into those things, hence why I went and got the birth chart done. But the reason why I'm bringing up the Pisces thing is because Pisces, if you Google what's the most sensitive zodiac sign, right, and I can give you a second to do that right now, Google the most sensitive zodiac sign. What you're going to come upon is zodiac sign Pisces is the most sensitive, right? But you also Google the most imaginative. You'll see that that's also the Pisces. So it's funny how the emotions and the imagination are coming through the same, right, zodiac sign. And what just so happens to be true about most Pisces is they're imaginative and extremely creative and sensitive, right? So I say all that to say this. Because I've been a sensitive creature since I can remember, and I've had a lot of work to do to get through those sensitivities. I'm not the same person I used to be. I'm not nearly as sensitive to the things that, oh my God. I mean, I look back today, even at 4 or 5 months ago, I'm like, Jesus, man, that's amazing that, you used to even care about this type of stuff. It's just crazy to me. So I just say that to say, even as the highly emotional, sensitive individual that I am, right, I still have managed to gain an understanding of my emotional intelligence, right, and actually cultivate an emotional intelligence within myself. And so therefore my life reflects other people who have emotional intelligence, or at least who are willing to gain that, who want to have it, who want to experience that, right? So here's what we're going to talk about today, the two things. The first thing is emotion. The first thing experienced when you're born, before logic ever comes about, right? That's what I've learned, is that if you think about it, you don't come out of the womb thinking and able to comprehend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Some babies are. I'm not saying that there aren't babies out there who are super geniuses, smart and all that. But the point is most children are unable to do that. Most kids come out doing what? Crying, right? Crying for food, crying for love, crying for attention, whatever it might be, laughing, playing, feeling is the point. You have emotions before you ever have logic. Your brain isn't even fully developed to process logic. So you actually, as an intelligent entity, your heart, right, was really like your first fully developed brain, if you think about it, right? Because your heart was able to feel those emotions before your brain was ever even fully developed. Now, the brain was processing these emotions, of course. We're not leaving the brain out of the equation, but if your heart is the thing that feels the emotions, and the emotion is the thing that you felt before logic, isn't it hilariously logical to say that you might want to gain a better perspective on your emotional health, how you are emotionally, what you feel most of the time? Like, why is that something you don't really pay too much attention to? It's one simple thing, and it's just uncomfortable. It just doesn't feel good all the time, right? Like, it doesn't feel good to feel all my feelings. Who wants to do that? No one, like, willingly. I do. I mean, I can't say no one, because I literally do, to the best of my abilities, right? I'm not saying I'm perfect. There's no way I can, like, actually feel all my feelings at once. I might explode. But as they come up, I am willing to feel those feelings. I'm willing to experience, like, okay, there might be some frustration there. Why is it there? Like, let's look at it. Let's pay attention to it, And that's how it starts when you get on this journey. But what it eventually evolves to is something even greater, which is instead of, because you've looked at it so many times, you're like, okay, I know this frustration's not me. I am the one who is experiencing the frustration. It's okay that it's there. Maybe there's something there that I still need to release. Let's just feel it out. Let's just feel it. Let's not even think about it. We're just gonna feel it. Let's experience it. And if we cry, we cry. We scream, we scream. If we feel, if our body gets heated, it gets heated. If we get, our mind starts racing, it starts racing. We just feel the feeling. We go through that, and then it releases and it lets go and it leaves us. And that's the liberation that's behind surrendering to yourself, right? But when you first start, it does start with like, okay, so why the heck am I feeling this? Like, what's going on? And I'm not saying over time you still don't do that, but it's less and less of that and more of what I told you, which is just experiencing the feeling, because you become so familiar with it already. So I know I ran through that kind of quickly. It's because you guys know how I do. I be trying to, make sure that these are 15 minutes or less, and packed full of, great, valuable information, stuff that isn't really talked about all the time, and stuff that we need to hear about. So anyway, back to the point. You first experience emotions when you're born, right? Before logic. So it's logical, right? After you develop the logic, to say, well, let me go ahead and dive more into the emotions that I was gifted with when I first came out the womb. Because obviously that's the thing that is driving everything I do, because it was the thing that allowed me to understand what life was when I first came out. Like, you gained understanding of life through your feelings first. Like, that is impeccable when you really think about it. Like, really think about that, fam. Then the second thing is, the end product of any and all experiences is an emotion. It's the two truths about emotion. Two truths about emotion. The end product of any and all experience is emotion. What do I mean? Well, don't ask me what do I mean. Ask the Dr. Joe Dispenza what he means. Because two truths about emotions. Okay? Joe Dispenza, because he's the one who I've heard that from. Love the information that he has to share. If you don't know who he is, look him up. OMG. Joe Dispenza, Dispenza. And what does that mean? The end product of every and all experience is an emotion. What in the world? That means I want you to think about something you want right now. Think about it. Pop, boom, in your mind. Okay, you want some candy? Cool. You want a pizza? Great. You want some lettuce? Okay, fantastic. No, I'm joking. Okay, but you get what I'm saying. You want a car, you want a house, you want a wife, you want a husband, you want kids, do you want a dog? Do you want a new couch? Do you want a washer and dryer? Do you want a bigger place to live? Do you want a better job? Like, think of something you want, okay? Okay, so why do you want that thing? You want it because of what it'll do for you, right? Let's say you want a better job. Okay, I want the better job because I want more recognition. I want to be heard. I want to have more fulfillment in that. Okay, great. What comes with recognition? What comes with being heard? And what comes with more fulfillment, right? With recognition, being heard, and fulfillment. I need to remember those. Okay, so with recognition, right, we could say that with recognition, I feel good when I'm recognized. Why else would you want to be recognized, right? It's a feeling, okay? End product of an experience. The experience of being recognized is the experience being recognized. What is the end product of that for you is the emotion. It's not the recognition. It's the emotion. It's what you feel, right? So we got recognition. Then we got more money, I think was hopefully the second one, right? But if it wasn't, great. More money, right? So I want more money. So why do you want more money? Okay, because I want more things. Why do you want more things? Because when I think when I have these things, I'll feel better. Great. Okay, there we go. Another one, right? Or because when I have these things, I can provide for my family, which what? Makes me feel good knowing I'm providing for my family. You feel what I'm saying? Like each one, it doesn't matter which way you go. Like, why else would you do anything? Why do we do stuff? Because we feel like it every time. You know what I'm saying? Like, That's why. And the only reason why we are able to leave certain habits, I'll get back to number 3, but the only reason why we're able to leave certain habits is because we are seeing ourselves feeling better without the current habit we have. So it's like, yeah, it feels good to go and eat a bag of cookies. Like, of course, I love that. OMG. Like, that feels good. But does it feel good when you look in the mirror? No. So it's like, you know that the experience of eating the cookies actually leads to you not feeling good in the end. So it's like, if you stop eating cookies, you're like, okay, well, even though I'm giving up something I want, like even though I'm giving up something that is giving me a good feeling in the moment, at the end of it, it's not a good feeling. So I'm going to give it up so that I have a good feeling at the end, right? Like, it's literally it drives everything we do, even when we think it doesn't. And so point number 3, we had recognition, more money, and fulfillment. Fulfillment is an emotion all in its own. It's its own thing, right? Fulfillment is its own energy. So I trust that this makes sense. I trust that you gather what I'm saying. I trust that you were keen enough to understand this, right? And even if you don't feel like you did. It's okay. Like, let it simmer. Listen to it again if you must. Go back, skim back through it, whatever you got to do. But just remember that the first thing that we ever experienced when we were born before logic was emotions, feelings, right? And then the end product of any and all experiences is an emotion. So keep that in mind as you go throughout your day. Okay, we're going to dive deep on emotions. Next week, we're actually going to talk about the array of emotion, right? Like, we're not going to just stick to, anger, fear, worry, and that type of stuff. Like, we're going to go into the array of emotion. Yeah, I'm writing that down for everybody who is watching and who is listening. So yeah, we're going to go through the array of emotion, which just means the spectrum of it, the front and the back. And again, if you guys are interested in mentorship with Makaiza, book a one-on-one coaching call. It's 30 minutes and they're free. They're usually valued at $67. So I usually, like I said, charge $67 for these. But for people who come through on the podcast, you guys are usually, some of my best listeners. And so I love you guys so much and I appreciate you. And I just want to give you guys something special. But they're on special right now for free. So book a 30-minute coaching call with Makaiza. That way we can get together one-on-one. You can find out the things that are blocking you the most. I don't really want to say blocking you, but the things that are really like you feel are standing in your way. Because there's nothing standing in your way. It's just all the stuff that you believe is standing in your way. And if you have been searching and looking for a way around these things, you've been led to the right place, right? That's all I have to say. And all praise to the Most High, because it doesn't come from me. It is definitely a inspiration from the one who created myself, who created my soul, and who created you as well, and everything else that exists. So I love you so much, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Mind is Matter. This is Makaiza. Mind is Matter and DirectSunLight, baby. Be the best and forget the rest, and always remember to be the sun and not its rays. Mind is Matter, baby. Mwah.